Welcome back, dear dreamer. Tonight, we drift into the quiet world of time, the unseen rhythm that guides stars, seasons, and every breath you take. It moves without sound, shaping moments that arrive softly and fade just as gently. As you listen, let each thought settle like a slow wave and carry you deeper into rest. Before we begin, don't forget to subscribe for more calming journeys into the universe, and tap the like button if you enjoy drifting into these gentle stories. Now let us begin. Time feels like a steady river, but science shows it moves differently depending on where you are in the universe. When you are closer to a strong gravitational pull, time slows down compared to someone farther away. You would never notice it in daily life, but satellites orbiting Earth have to correct for this tiny shift, or their clocks would slowly drift. This effect is called time dilation, and it gently reminds you that the seconds you hear are not the same everywhere. As you relax, imagine time stretching softly across space, flowing past planets and stars, moving at its own quiet pace without hurry, like a breath that never ends. Long before clocks existed, people watched the changing sky to understand the passing of time. Ancient civilizations followed shadows, sunrise positions, and the movement of stars to guide planting seasons and daily routines. They were not measuring time the way we do now, but simply observing gentle patterns in nature. The sun would rise, the moon would change shape, and constellations would shift slowly across the night. These rhythms created a calm sense of order. Even today, the body responds to these natural cycles, telling you when to wake and when to rest, without needing to rush. If you could approach a black hole, time would stretch so slowly that a single moment could feel almost frozen from the outside. The gravity near a black hole is so strong that light itself struggles to escape, and time moves differently there compared to anywhere else. An observer watching from far away would see you slow down more and more, as if you were caught in a quiet pause. This idea is not science fiction, but a real prediction of relativity. Thinking about this can feel strangely peaceful, like time can soften and lengthen in the universe without ever stopping. For most of human history, clocks did not divide time into precise seconds. People listened to the ringing of bells, watched candles burn, or followed water dripping from one container to another. These simple tools did not chase accuracy, but offered gentle reminders of passing hours. Life moved at a slower rhythm, guided by daylight and quiet evenings. Today, our clocks are exact down to billionths of a second, but the body still finds comfort in slower patterns. When you close your eyes, you can imagine time as it once felt, unmeasured, quiet, and without deadlines. Modern timekeeping depends on atoms vibrating at the same frequency over and over again. Atomic clocks are so stable that they barely lose a second in millions of years. They help guide satellites, navigation systems, and scientific research. Yet, the principle behind them is simple. An atom of cesium releases tiny pulses of energy at a predictable rhythm, like the softest ticking in the universe. This steady pattern defines what a second truly is. Even though the idea sounds technical, it shows how calm and ordered nature can be at its smallest scale, repeating gently without effort or noise. The universe does not have a single clock that measures time for every place. Instead, every region of space experiences time in its own quiet way. As the universe expands, distant galaxies drift farther from us, and their light stretches into longer wavelengths. Astronomers call this redshift, and it is one of the clues that tells us the universe has been growing for billions of years. When you think about this expansion, it feels gentle rather than fast, like a slow breath spreading outward. time becomes a soft background to everything that exists, not something that pushes forward, but something that simply unfolds, moment by moment, without any need to rush or hurry. Your body carries its own natural clock, quietly running without your awareness. This internal rhythm responds to light in the morning and darkness at night, guiding sleep, warmth, and energy. Even without watches or alarms, the body would still follow this pattern, known as the circadian cycle. Scientists discovered that tiny clusters of brain cells keep this rhythm steady, adjusting slowly each day. It is comforting to know that time lives inside you in such a peaceful way. When you close your eyes, the body continues its gentle schedule, reminding you that rest is not forced, but naturally supported. On the surface of a neutron star, time would flow differently than it does here on Earth. These stars are incredibly dense, formed from the collapsed cores of massive suns. A teaspoon of material from a neutron star would weigh as much as a mountain. The gravity there is so strong that time would slow compared to someone far away in open space. Even though no one can stand on such a place, imagining it brings a sense of wonder about how flexible time can be. It is not rigid or fixed, but responsive to the universe, stretching and softening in silence. When early humans first tracked the movement of the sun, they were not trying to divide time, but to live in harmony with nature. Sundials appeared later as simple stone or metal plates that cast shadows across marked lines. These shadows moved slowly throughout the day, creating a calm and visual reminder of time passing. There was no ticking and no pressure, only the steady motion of sunlight. Even today, sundials still work wherever the sun rises. Thinking about them brings a slower feeling, as if time was once measured only by light and shade, allowing people to move gently through their day. In deep space, far from planets and stars, time flows almost at the same pace everywhere. Without strong gravity or high speed, there is very little change in how seconds pass. If you were drifting in this quiet region, you would not feel time at all. There would be no sound, no movement, only stillness. Scientists say that space is never truly empty, but filled with faint particles and energy that float through the darkness. Even in this peaceful emptiness, time continues silently, without needing attention. It is a reminder that time does not depend on noise or activity. It simply exists, steady and calm. The idea that time began with the birth of the universe is something scientists continue to explore. According to the Big Bang Theory, space and time expanded together from an incredibly small and dense point. There was no before in the way we understand it, because time itself had not yet started. Thinking about this can feel peaceful rather than overwhelming. It suggests that time is not an endless line stretching backward, but a quiet unfolding that began with the first light. As the universe cooled and stars slowly formed, time moved forward in a steady rhythm, shaping galaxies, planets, and eventually the world you know today. The rotation of Earth creates the cycle of day and night, a pattern that has guided life for millions of years. Our planet turns once every 24 hours, giving light to one side, while the other rests in darkness. This gentle rotation never stops, and because of it, time feels familiar and dependable. Even when clouds hide the sky, the rhythm continues without pause. Animals migrate, plants open and close, and human routines adjust to this natural timing. When you think about Earth slowly turning beneath you, it gives a calm sense of motion, steady and reassuring, like a cradle rocking softly. In the deep center of a black hole, scientists believe there is a point where the known laws of physics no longer function. This place is called a singularity. No one can see it, Yet the idea helps researchers study how gravity and time interact. Near the event horizon, time slows so much that an outside observer would never watch anything fully cross it. This strange effect creates a quiet illusion, as if moments stretch into eternity. Even though black holes seem mysterious, imagining them can bring a feeling of stillness, reminding you that time can behave in ways far beyond ordinary experience. Before mechanical clocks existed, people measured time through water clocks that dripped at a steady pace. These devices used the simple flow of water from one container to another, marking hours with gentle drops. The sound was soft and rhythmic, like rain falling in a quiet room. Ancient cultures used them at night when sundials could not work. Although they were not precise by modern standards, they offered a peaceful way to track time. Thinking about water clocks creates a calm, mental image, where time passes like a slow stream rather than a ticking sound, allowing life to unfold without pressure. Scientists have discovered that time moves slightly faster on the top floor of a building compared to the ground level. This difference is incredibly small, but it shows how gravity influences the flow of time. The higher you are from Earth's center, the weaker gravity becomes, and time speeds up by just a fraction. No one can feel this change, yet sensitive instruments can detect it. It is comforting to know that time is flexible and gentle, changing without any disturbance. Even in familiar places, time is quietly responding to the world around it, moving in its own calm and careful way. Light travels at a constant speed, but the way time is experienced depends on motion. According to relativity, the faster you move, the slower time passes for you compared to someone at rest. Astronauts aboard the International Space Station experience this slightly, aging a tiny bit less than people on Earth. The difference is too small to notice, yet it shows how time gently adjusts to movement. You can imagine drifting slowly through space, where motion and time work together in silence. There is no rush, only the quiet idea that time is not fixed, but responsive, flowing at a pace that depends on where you are and how you travel. The moon influences more than tides and night skies. Ancient cultures used its cycle to mark months, creating calendars based on its gentle phases. The moon takes about 29.5 days to complete a full cycle, from new moon to full and back again. This rhythm has remained unchanged for billions of years, offering a calming consistency to life on Earth. Even today, many traditions follow lunar timing for festivals and harvests. When you watch the moon slowly change shape, it feels like time is breathing softly, reminding you that nature keeps its own steady schedule without the need for precision. In the vacuum of deep space, clocks would tick almost perfectly, unaffected by gravity or motion. Scientists use highly stable clocks on spacecraft to study signals from distant objects. These clocks help measure how long light takes to travel across space, allowing us to understand distance and movement on a cosmic scale. Even though space seems empty, the silence makes time feel smooth and uninterrupted. There are no sounds or weather to disturb it. Imagining a clock floating gently in space brings a feeling of stillness, as if time can exist calmly without any pressure, simply marking each moment in quiet precision. Early sand timers used grains of sand falling through a narrow glass passage to measure short periods. The flow was steady and quiet, like a tiny waterfall. Sailors, monks, and craftsmen used them because they were simple and reliable. Unlike modern timers, sand clocks did not beep or demand attention. They offered a visual reminder that time passes slowly and predictably. Watching sand fall is soothing, as each grain moves without hurry. When you picture a sand timer turning over, It creates a gentle sense of rhythm, showing that time can be soft and patient, not something that needs to be chased or controlled. Time on Earth is slightly changing because the planet's rotation is gradually slowing down. This happens due to the gravitational pull between Earth and the Moon. The change is very small, adding only a fraction of a second over long periods. Scientists occasionally adjust our clocks with something called a leap second to keep them aligned with Earth's rotation. Even though the idea sounds technical, it shows how natural and flexible time can be. The world continues its slow rhythm without any rush, and seconds adjust softly to match it. Thinking about this brings a calm feeling, as if time is quietly adapting to the planet's gentle pace. Every star in the night sky is not only shining but also aging at its own slow pace. Some stars burn quickly and end their lives in a few million years, while others glow gently for billions of years. Time moves differently for them, depending on their size and temperature. When you look at starlight, you are seeing light that began its journey long ago, traveling across space before reaching your eyes. This means you are looking into the past without even trying. The universe shares its history quietly, allowing you to witness moments that happened before humans existed. Thinking about this can feel peaceful, as if time stretches softly across the sky. In ancient Egypt, time was measured using tall stone pillars called obelisks that cast shadows across marked surfaces. As the sun moved, the shadow shifted slowly, dividing the day into sections. People did not count seconds or minutes, yet their lives followed a steady rhythm, guided by daylight. These early time markers were more about balance than precision. They helped farmers know when to plant crops and when to rest during the heat. Imagining these silent pillars standing under the sun brings a sense of stillness, where time passed naturally and every day unfolded without hurry or pressure. Inside a GPS satellite, clocks tick slightly faster than they do on Earth because of weaker gravity and high speed. Engineers must adjust these clocks so navigation remains accurate. Without these corrections, maps and location services would slowly drift out of place. Even though the difference is tiny, it shows how time responds to the universe with quiet sensitivity. Technology relies on this delicate understanding, yet the concept itself is gentle. Time is not rigid but adaptable, adjusting without sound or force. Knowing this creates a calm feeling, as if the world is supported by invisible rhythms that work in silence to keep everything aligned. Some trees live for thousands of years, carrying the history of time within their rings. Each ring inside the trunk marks a single year of growth, showing seasons of rain, drought, and sunlight. Scientists can read these patterns to learn about ancient climates and natural events long before written records existed. These trees stand quietly, witnessing generations pass without ever moving. Thinking about a tree that has been alive since before major civilizations creates a soothing sense of continuity. It reminds you that time can be gentle and steady, allowing life to unfold slowly, without urgency, and with deep patience. The farther we look into space, the farther back in time we see. Telescopes capture light that has traveled for millions or even billions of years before reaching Earth. This means distant galaxies appear not as they are today, but as they existed long ago. The night sky becomes a peaceful window into the universe's earliest moments. Instead of feeling large or overwhelming, it can feel quiet and reassuring, like watching an old memory play softly. Time and space does not rush forward. It drifts toward us in the form of ancient light, carrying stories that unfold without sound, offering a gentle reminder of how vast and calm the universe can be. solar time and clock time are not always perfectly aligned. The Earth does not orbit the Sun at a perfectly even speed, and its axis tilts slightly as it moves. Because of this, the length of a day changes a little throughout the year. Sundials show the true position of the Sun, while modern clocks run at a steady pace, creating small differences known as the equation of time. These shifts are never sudden. They unfold slowly, almost unnoticeable, reminding you that nature follows its own rhythm. Time does not need to be exact to feel balanced. It moves in quiet patterns shaped by sunlight, seasons, and the gentle motion of the planet. Long ago, calendars had difficulty matching the timing of seasons because a year is not exactly 365 days. The Julian calendar added a leap day every 4 years, but over centuries, it drifted away from spring and winter. To correct this, the Gregorian calendar was introduced, removing extra days and creating the system we still use today. This change was not rushed, but adjusted gradually across different countries. Thinking about it shows how humans have tried to follow nature's timing without forcing it. Even our calendar carries a calm reminder that time can be gently aligned rather than tightly controlled. In modern physics, scientists study something called a time crystal, a structure that repeats its pattern not in space but over time. Instead of staying still, it cycles in a steady rhythm without using energy. No one can see it with the naked eye, yet the idea shows how nature can create order silently. Time crystals do not behave like ordinary objects. They move while appearing unchanged, like a soft heartbeat that never tires. Imagining this brings a peaceful feeling, as if time can create patterns that continue effortlessly. It suggests that the universe contains quiet rhythms we are only beginning to understand. The oldest light in the universe surrounds us like a faint whisper. This soft glow is called the cosmic microwave background, a gentle remnant from when the universe was young. It has been traveling for more than 13 billion years, filling space evenly in every direction. Scientists study tiny variations in this light to learn about the early universe. Even though it sounds mysterious, the idea is calming. The sky holds a quiet memory that has drifted through time without fading. When you think about this ancient light, it feels like the universe is sharing a peaceful snapshot of its beginning, carried across space with no rush and no sound. Your sense of time changes when you dream. Minutes can feel like hours, or long stories can pass in just moments. The brain relaxes during sleep, and the parts that track time become less active. There is no pressure to measure anything. Instead, thoughts flow freely, creating scenes that appear and fade without order. This gentle looseness makes dreams feel calm and unhurried, even when they shift quickly. It shows that time inside the mind is flexible, responding to rest in its own quiet way. When you drift into sleep, the world continues, but your inner sense of time softens, helping you let go and relax. Some mountains rise so high that time passes slightly faster at their peaks than at sea level. The difference is tiny, but it shows how elevation affects the flow of time. At higher altitudes, gravity is a little weaker, allowing seconds to move just a bit more quickly. No one can feel this change, yet precise instruments can measure it. Thinking about a quiet mountaintop, surrounded by thin air and open sky, creates a peaceful image. Time there does not rush. It simply drifts a little differently than it does below, reminding you that even familiar places hold gentle variations in the rhythm of the universe. For most of history, people lived without knowing the exact time. Villages marked mornings by rooster calls and evenings by fading light. The idea of everyone sharing the same hour did not exist until trains needed synchronized schedules in the 19th century. Before that, every town kept its own local time based on the position of the sun. Life moved at a slower pace, shaped by natural cues rather than precise clocks. Imagining a world without alarms or countdowns brings a calming feeling. It shows that time can be a guide instead of a demand, allowing each day to unfold quietly and naturally. If you could travel close to the speed of light, time would slow down for you compared to people who remained behind. When you returned, more time would have passed on Earth than you experienced. This idea is called time dilation, and it is a real consequence of relativity. No spaceship can reach these speeds yet, but the concept is peaceful to think about. It suggests that time is not fixed, but flexible, stretching and easing depending on motion. Instead of feeling like a strict measurement, time becomes a gentle companion that adjusts softly to the way the universe moves. Hourglasses were once important for navigation at sea. Sailors used them to measure the length of a watch shift and to keep track of direction using simple timing and stars. The sand fell quietly, unaffected by the rocking of the ship. There were no alarms or digital displays, only the soft flow of grains marking the passage of time. Imagining this brings a sense of stillness, as if time at sea was guided by patience rather than urgency. The ocean stretched endlessly, and the hourglass reminded sailors that time could be calm, steady, and dependable even in the middle of vast, silent water. The universe is still cooling down with every passing moment. In the early stages, it was incredibly hot, but over billions of years, it has expanded and gently lost heat. Today, the average temperature of space is just a few degrees above absolute zero. This slow cooling happens without noise or effort, spreading quietly across the cosmos. It shows that time can bring gradual change without disruption. Thinking about the universe becoming slightly cooler with every moment creates a soothing sense of stillness, as if the entire cosmos is resting. Nothing is rushed. Everything unfolds at a pace so soft it can only be felt through patience. Deep beneath the ocean surface, time feels almost unchanged. In the quiet darkness, where sunlight cannot reach, the rhythm of life slows. Creatures move with calm steadiness, conserving energy in the cold water. Scientists studying these depths have found that some species live far longer than those near the surface. The steady pressure and chilly temperatures create an environment where change happens slowly. Imagining this hidden world brings a peaceful feeling, as if time itself relaxes under the weight of the sea. There are no clocks and no signals of day or night, only the quiet pulse of the ocean carrying moments forward in silence. Ancient civilizations built stone circles to follow the movement of the sun across the seasons. Places like Stonehenge were aligned with sunrise and sunset during specific times of the year. People gathered not to count seconds, but to notice the gentle return of light after winter. These structures acted as calm reminders that time is connected to nature. Standing among these stones, you would not hear ticking or rushing. You would only feel the slow shift of shadows as days lengthened and shortened. Thinking about this creates a quiet sense of connection, showing that time was once observed with patience rather than precision. In the center of our galaxy lies a supermassive black hole. It does not draw everything in at once. Instead, stars continue to orbit around it peacefully, moving through space in long, slow paths. The gravity is strong, but the distance keeps them safe. Time near this black hole flows differently compared to regions farther away, yet the change is subtle at a distance. Imagining stars circling quietly around an unseen center brings a sense of stillness It is a reminder that even powerful forces in the universe can exist without chaos, allowing time to stretch gently through vast and silent space. Mechanical clocks began using pendulums in the 17th century, and their steady swing changed how people understood time. A pendulum moves back and forth at a predictable pace, creating regular intervals that made clocks far more accurate. The motion is smooth and quiet, like the gentle sway of a branch in the wind. These clocks helped towns coordinate daily life without rushing. When you picture a pendulum moving slowly from side to side, it brings a calming rhythm to the mind. Time becomes something that flows with balance, guided by simple motion rather than pressure or noise. The light from the nearest star beyond the sun takes more than 4 years to reach Earth. This means every time you look at that distant point in the sky, you are seeing it as it was in the past. Space does not hurry to deliver its light. It travels at a steady speed, crossing empty distances in silence. Thinking about this creates a quiet sense of patience. The universe shares its moments slowly, allowing you to witness events long after they happened. Time and space is not rushed. It moves gently, carrying memories across the darkness with calm and steady persistence. The surface of Antarctica holds ice that has been frozen for hundreds of thousands of years. Tiny bubbles trapped inside contain ancient air, preserving a quiet record of Earth's past. Scientists study these layers to understand how the climate has changed over long stretches of time. Each layer forms slowly, like pages in a gentle book written by snowfall. Thinking about this frozen history creates a calm feeling. Time does not disappear there. It settles softly, preserved in silence beneath the cold. The ice waits without rushing, holding memories of sunlight, wind, and seasons that passed long before anyone was alive to witness them. Some animals experience time differently depending on their heartbeat. Creatures with faster heart rates often live shorter lives, while animals with slower rhythms can live much longer. A tortoise moves with unhurried steps, and its heart beats calmly, allowing it to experience life at a slower pace. Scientists have studied this connection and found that energy use may shape lifespan. Imagining a tortoise resting in the sun brings a peaceful image. Time for such animals feels stretched and gentle, as if each moment is allowed to unfold fully. It reminds you that slowing down can create its own quiet sense of longevity. The planets in our solar system each experience time in their own way. A day on Venus lasts longer than an entire year because the planet rotates so slowly. On Jupiter, a day is only about 10 hours due to its rapid spin. These differences show that time is not universal but shaped by motion and rotation. Imagining standing on different worlds brings a sense of wonder, not confusion. Time across the solar system is like a soft collection of rhythms, each moving at its own pace. Nothing feels rushed. Every planet turns and orbits with calm regularity, creating a peaceful variety in the flow of time. Long before digital clocks, candle clocks were used to track the passing of hours. A candle was marked with lines, and as it burned, the wax melted slowly, indicating time's gentle movement. The flame flickered quietly, offering a warm glow instead of a sharp sound. These clocks were simple and comforting, working during nights when sunlight could not guide daily life. Imagining a candle burning in a silent room brings a sense of warmth and ease. Time in that moment feels soft and steady, guided by light rather than numbers, allowing the evening to unfold without any urgency. In distant galaxies, stars are being born while others fade, showing that time in the universe is always in motion, even when it feels still. These processes happen over millions of years, far too slow for anyone to witness directly. Telescopes capture snapshots of these stages, giving us peaceful glimpses of cosmic change. Nothing in space happens suddenly. Stars gather, glow, and eventually fade in silence. Thinking about these long timelines creates a soothing sense of perspective. Time in the universe is patient, allowing everything to evolve at a pace so gentle that it feels almost timeless. Your heartbeat creates its own quiet sense of time. Even when you sleep, it keeps a steady rhythm without needing thought or direction. Scientists have found that the body adjusts this rhythm based on rest, stress, and temperature, allowing time inside you to shift gently. When the heart slows during sleep, the world feels farther away and moments become softer. Thinking about this natural rhythm brings a peaceful feeling, as if time is not measured by clocks but by the gentle pulse that supports life. It reminds you that even within silence, there is a quiet timing that carries you through each moment without noise or effort. Coral reefs grow layer by layer, forming structures that can last for thousands of years. Each layer tells a story about ocean temperature, sunlight, and seasonal changes. Scientists study these tiny patterns to understand long timelines hidden beneath the sea. Coral does not rush. It builds slowly, creating entire ecosystems through patience. Imagining a reef growing quietly under clear water brings a sense of calm. Time underwater feels different, guided by gentle currents and steady growth. It shows that time can create beauty through small, repeated moments, each one adding softly to the next without urgency. The shadows on Earth are not always the same length at noon, because the planet's tilt changes the angle of sunlight throughout the year. This slow shift creates the seasons and affects how light moves across land and sky. Ancient observers watched these patterns to understand planting cycles and changing weather. Even today, the solstices mark the longest and shortest days with quiet consistency. Thinking about the sun rising a little differently each day brings a calming awareness. Time unfolds through light, not through numbers, offering a soft reminder that nature keeps its own gentle schedule. When astronauts look at Earth from space, they often describe a sense of timelessness. The planet appears peaceful, floating without any sign of borders, noise, or schedules. Sunrises and sunsets happen every 90 minutes aboard the International Space Station, creating a rhythm that feels different from life on the surface. Yet inside the spacecraft, time is carefully managed to keep sleep and work in balance. This contrast shows that time can feel fast or slow depending on perspective. Imagining Earth drifting silently beneath you creates a soothing feeling, as if time becomes weightless and calm. Meteorites that fall to Earth carry material older than the planet itself. Some pieces come from the early solar system, more than 4.5 billion years old. Holding such a rock is like touching the earliest moments of time in our cosmic neighborhood. These stones traveled silently through space before arriving here, unchanged by hurry or pressure. Thinking about this creates a gentle sense of history. Time does not always erase the past. Sometimes it preserves it quietly, delivering reminders across vast distances with patience and silence. The center of the Earth contains heat that has been slowly cooling for billions of years. This warmth comes from the planet's formation and from natural radioactive decay deep underground. The process happens so gradually that it will continue far longer than human history. Scientists learn about this hidden timeline by studying volcanic rocks and seismic waves. Imagining this slow release of energy brings a calm feeling. Time beneath the surface does not rush. It moves gently through stone and metal, shaping the planet in silence. While life changes quickly above, the deep earth keeps its own ancient rhythm, steady and unhurried. Some species of jellyfish drift through the ocean without aging in the usual way. When stressed or injured, they can transform their cells back into a younger state, restarting their life cycle. This unusual ability has led scientists to study how aging works in nature. The process is slow and peaceful, happening quietly beneath the waves. Thinking about a jellyfish floating in clear water creates a soothing image. Time for such creatures does not follow a straight line. It softens and loops gently, reminding you that nature holds many rhythms beyond the one humans experience. The night sky shows stars at different stages of life, yet from Earth, they appear still and unchanging. Most stars do not flicker because their light travels through space without interruption. The calm appearance hides long processes happening over millions of years. When you look up, you are seeing a steady picture painted by distant time. This creates a peaceful feeling, as if the universe offers a quiet pause each night. Time in the sky does not demand attention. It simply waits, allowing you to observe light that began its journey long before you were born. In ancient India, time was divided using a system called the Ghatika, measured by the flow of water in special vessels. Priests and astronomers used these gentle measurements to guide rituals, seasons, and daily activities. There were no mechanical parts, only water moving with calm precision. The sound was soft, like a steady drip in a quiet room. Thinking about this creates a sense of ease, showing that timekeeping once relied on natural motion rather than strict accuracy. Life followed a rhythm shaped by patience, allowing days to unfold without pressure. The universe contains regions called cosmic voids, vast spaces with almost no galaxies or stars. In these silent areas, nothing moves quickly, and change occurs over immense stretches of time. Scientists study them to understand how matter is arranged across the cosmos. Imagining a place so still and open brings a deep sense of calm. Time there feels almost weightless, passing without sound or activity. It reminds you that not everything in the universe is crowded or fast. Some spaces exist simply in quiet balance, holding emptiness that feels peaceful rather than lonely. Every snowflake forms slowly in the clouds as water vapor turns to ice around tiny particles of dust. The process takes time, shaping each crystal into a unique pattern. No two are the same, yet all fall quietly through the air. Scientists study their structure to understand temperature and moisture in the atmosphere. Thinking about a snowflake drifting downward creates a peaceful image. Time in that moment feels soft and weightless, as if the world is slowing just enough for the snow to land. It reminds you that nature can create beauty through calm and silent timing, without any rush at all. Light from the sun takes about 8 minutes to reach Earth, even though the sun is close in cosmic terms. This delay means that every sunrise shows the sun as it was moments earlier. Space does not hurry light along its path. It allows it to travel steadily across the distance, carrying warmth and energy. Imagining sunlight moving through space at a constant speed brings a quiet sense of reliability. Time between the sun and Earth is invisible but always present, creating a gentle link that supports life without sound or pressure. The rings inside polar ice cores reveal seasonal layers much like the growth rings in trees. Lighter bands form in summer and darker bands in winter, creating a natural record of time. Scientists read these layers to understand ancient weather patterns and atmospheric changes. Each layer forms slowly, settling quietly over the previous one. Thinking about these frozen memories creates a calm feeling, as if time is collecting itself gently in the cold. Nothing is rushed. Snow becomes ice, and ice becomes history, preserved in silence beneath the surface. Some clocks on Earth are synchronized using signals from distant stars. Radio telescopes detect pulses from spinning neutron stars called pulsars, which release energy at incredibly regular intervals. These pulses are so steady that they can serve as cosmic timekeepers. Scientists use them to study changes in space and to keep precise measurements over long periods. Imagining a clock guided by starlight brings a soothing sense of connection. Time does not need to come from machines alone. It can be traced through the quiet rhythm of the universe, carried across space in gentle waves. The surface of Mars experiences longer days than Earth, lasting about 24 hours and 39 minutes. Future explorers will adjust their routines to this slower rhythm, waking and resting according to Martian daylight. Scientists working with Mars rovers already follow this timing from Earth during missions, shifting their schedules gradually. Imagining life on a planet with slightly longer days creates a peaceful thought. Time there would feel familiar yet calm, stretching just a bit more with each rotation. It shows that even small changes in rhythm can bring a quiet sense of space and ease. Some of the oldest rocks on Earth are more than 4 billion years old, formed when the planet was still cooling and shaping its surface. These ancient stones hold tiny minerals that record early conditions of the world. Scientists study them to understand how continents and oceans first appeared. The rocks have remained steady through ice ages, volcanic eruptions, and drifting landmasses, yet they still sit quietly in the present. Thinking about their long history creates a peaceful sense of stability. Time for these stones is measured not in days or years, but in silent ages, reminding you that the Earth carries its memories slowly and gently. The tides of the ocean rise and fall with a steady rhythm shaped by the moon's gravitational pull. This cycle has continued for billions of years, guiding marine life and shaping coastlines. Even though tides change twice each day, the pattern feels calm and predictable. Ancient sailors watched these movements to plan voyages, trusting the quiet pull of the moon. Today, scientists can measure tides with precision, yet the experience remains peaceful. Imagining waves moving in and out creates a soothing sense of balance, showing that time can be marked not by clocks, but by the gentle breathing of the sea. In the quiet vacuum of space, sound cannot travel, but time moves without interruption. Space does not contain air to carry noise, so even the most powerful events, like stars forming or galaxies colliding, happen in silence. This silence does not mean stillness. Light travels, planets orbit, and cosmic dust drifts slowly across the darkness. Thinking about this creates a deep sense of calm. Time and space is untouched by sound or hurry. It continues smoothly, allowing the universe to change without noise, as if the cosmos prefers quiet moments to express its endless motion. The ancient Mayan calendar was based on the movement of the sun, moon, and planets, creating cycles that tracked both short and long periods of time. These cycles did not predict endings, but marked repeating patterns in nature. The Mayans watched the sky with patience, observing how seasons returned with gentle consistency. Their understanding of time was deeply connected to balance rather than speed. Imagining this approach brings a peaceful feeling, showing that time can be seen as a circle instead of a straight line, always returning softly to familiar places without rush. The Milky Way galaxy rotates slowly, completing one full turn roughly every 200 million years. Even though stars move through space at incredible speeds, the rotation feels calm on a cosmic scale. From Earth, the sky appears still because the motion is too gradual to notice within a lifetime. Thinking about this enormous yet gentle rotation creates a soothing perspective. Time in the galaxy does not hurry. It unfolds across countless generations, allowing stars and planets to drift in quiet harmony. It reminds you that the universe moves at a pace that feels almost timeless. Human memory does not record time evenly. Moments that feel calm often pass quietly, while new or emotional experiences seem longer. Scientists have found that the brain measures time based on attention rather than the clock. When the mind is relaxed, it does not track every second, allowing minutes to drift softly. This is why peaceful activities, like listening to rain or watching clouds, feel almost timeless. Thinking about this brings a comforting awareness that time inside the mind is flexible. It does not always move at the same pace. It softens when you rest, giving you space to breathe without needing to measure anything. On Saturn, seasons last more than 7 years each because the planet takes almost 30 Earth years to complete one trip around the Sun. Its tilt creates long periods of light and darkness across its rings and atmosphere. Storms form and fade slowly, and sunlight changes gradually over time. Imagining a world where seasons stretch across years instead of months brings a quiet sense of scale. Time there would feel gentle and expanded, with each phase unfolding patiently. It shows that time is not the same everywhere, and sometimes the universe moves with a rhythm that encourages stillness rather than speed. Ancient Chinese water clocks used carefully designed bowls that filled drop by drop. As the water level rose, markers indicated the passing hours. These clocks did not make sound or demand precision. They worked in harmony with nature, using the steady flow of water to guide daily life. Scholars and astronomers relied on them to observe the sky and plan important tasks. Thinking about these quiet tools creates a peaceful image. Time was once measured through softness and patience, not pressure. It reminds you that even complex civilizations followed gentle rhythms that allowed each day to move at an unhurried pace. Some of the light we see from distant galaxies began its journey before Earth even existed. Traveling across the universe, it continued without stopping, unchanged by storms, planets, or distance. When telescopes capture this ancient light, they are collecting messages from a time long before life began here. Thinking about this creates a soothing feeling, as if the universe has been sharing its history slowly and quietly. Time and space does not fade quickly. It carries memories across billions of years with calm persistence, reminding you that the past is still glowing softly in the present. The slow dripping of stalactites in caves forms mineral formations over tens of thousands of years. Water carries tiny particles that build up little by little, creating pillars that grow at the pace of a few centimeters per century. Inside these caves, darkness and silence remain undisturbed. Time moves gently, shaping stone without sound. Imagining this hidden world brings a deep sense of calm. Nothing rushes. Each drop adds to the next, and change happens so quietly that no one can witness it while it occurs. It shows that time can create lasting beauty through patience alone, without urgency or force. Some fossils preserve the outlines of leaves and shells that existed millions of years ago. These imprints formed when plants and animals were gently covered by sediment, protected from decay. Over time, minerals replaced the original material, leaving a quiet record of life in stone. Scientists study these fossils to understand landscapes and climates that no longer exist. Thinking about this slow transformation brings a calming sense of patience. Time does not erase everything. Sometimes it protects small details, holding them safely for the future. It reminds you that change can be gentle, allowing memories to remain even as the world continues to move forward. The rotation of the moon is perfectly matched to its orbit around Earth, which is why the same side always faces us. This synchronized motion is called tidal locking and happens slowly over millions of years. The moon did not start this way. Its rotation gradually slowed due to Earth's gravitational pull until both movements aligned. Imagining this steady adjustment creates a peaceful feeling. The moon appears still, yet its history is filled with quiet change. Time can bring balance without noise or haste, allowing two bodies in space to move together in calm harmony. In deep forests, fallen trees take decades or even centuries to return to the soil. As they decompose, they provide shelter and nutrients for countless small organisms. This process happens slowly, hidden beneath moss and leaves. Nothing is wasted, and nothing is rushed. Scientists call this a natural cycle of renewal, where time gently transforms what once stood tall into the foundation for new growth. Thinking about a forest floor covered in soft wood and quiet life creates a soothing image. Time there feels circular and patient, reminding you that endings can also unfold with calm purpose. Some ancient stars called red dwarfs burn their fuel so gradually that they can continue shining for trillions of years, far longer than our sun. Their light is faint but steady, warming small planetary systems with quiet persistence. Because they burn so slowly, red dwarfs change very little over long stretches of time. Imagining a star that will continue glowing long after the Milky Way has transformed brings a deep sense of calm. Time on such a scale feels gentle and unhurried, showing that the universe contains rhythms far slower than anything on Earth. Sand dunes and deserts move quietly as wind shifts grains from one side to another. The dunes may drift several meters over a year, yet the change is so gradual that it is almost impossible to notice while it happens. Scientists study these movements to understand how landscapes evolve over long periods. Thinking about sand shifting in silence creates a peaceful feeling. Time in the desert does not need sound or urgency. It works through tiny motions, shaping the land slowly and smoothly, reminding you that even the smallest changes can create beauty when they happen with patience. Glaciers move so slowly that their motion is almost invisible, sliding only a few centimeters each day. Over thousands of years, they carve valleys and shape mountains with quiet persistence. The ice holds layers of snow from distant centuries, pressing them into crystal blue depths. Scientists study these frozen rivers to understand how the climate has changed over time. Thinking about a glacier creeping forward in silence creates a calming sense of patience. Nothing forces its movement. It flows at its own soft pace, reminding you that time can reshape the world without rushing, working gently through cold and stillness. The light from a candle appears steady, but it flickers in tiny changes that the eye barely notices. These small variations are caused by air currents and differences in temperature around the flame. Even though the movement is constant, it feels peaceful and calming to watch. For centuries, people used candlelight for reading, writing, and quiet reflection. Time seemed slower in that warm glow, softened by shadows and silence. Imagining a single flame in a still room brings a sense of comfort. It shows that time can feel gentle when the world becomes simple, guided only by soft light and steady breathing. The rings of Saturn are made of ice and dust that orbit the planet in countless tiny paths. Each piece moves at its own speed, yet together they create a smooth and quiet band that appears solid from far away. These rings have existed for millions of years, slowly changing as particles collide and drift apart. Thinking about this delicate structure brings a peaceful feeling. Time in the rings does not rush. It flows through gentle motion, shaping patterns that are always shifting but never hurried, like a silent dance around a distant world. Some deserts experience rain only once in many years, and when it comes, seeds that have waited beneath the sand begin to grow. These plants bloom briefly, coloring the landscape before returning to rest. Scientists call this a long dormancy, where life pauses until conditions return. Thinking about seeds waiting patiently beneath the surface creates a soothing image. Time for them is not measured by days or hours, but by quiet readiness. It reminds you that sometimes the world moves forward through stillness, allowing moments to arrive only when they are needed. Ancient cave paintings have remained untouched for tens of thousands of years, protected in darkness from wind and sunlight. These images show animals and shapes created by people who lived long before written history. The colors faded slowly, but still survive in silence. Scientists study them to understand early human life and the passage of time across generations. Thinking about these quiet marks on stone brings a calm feeling. Time did not erase them quickly. It allowed their stories to rest gently in hidden spaces, waiting for someone to discover them with patience and care. Some lakes at high altitudes stay frozen most of the year, melting only for a short time in summer. Beneath the surface, layers of sediment settle slowly, creating a quiet record of seasons passing. Scientists study these layers to learn about ancient climates, using pollen and tiny shells preserved in the mud. The process happens without sound or movement visible to the eye. Thinking about a still lake surrounded by mountains brings a peaceful image. Time there feels paused, yet it continues gently beneath the ice, collecting memories grain by grain. It shows that even in places that seem untouched, the world is always changing softly. The surface of the sun constantly shifts, but its cycles unfold over 11-year periods. Sunspots appear and fade slowly as magnetic fields rise and relax. These changes affect light and energy reaching Earth, yet they happen at a steady pace. Ancient observers tracked these patterns without knowing their cause, simply noticing when the sun seemed more active. Imagining the sun breathing through long cycles brings a calming sense of scale. Time for a star is measured not in days, but in gentle waves, reminding you that even powerful forces move with patience across the universe. Some clocks keep time using vibrating quartz crystals. When electricity passes through the crystal, it vibrates at an exact frequency, creating a steady rhythm that guides the clock's movement. The vibration is too fast to see and completely silent, yet it keeps time with remarkable accuracy. Thinking about this hidden motion brings a peaceful awareness. Time can be measured through something small and quiet, without gears or sound. It shows that precision does not need noise, and that the most reliable rhythms can come from gentle movements that happen beyond our senses. The fossils of tiny microorganisms, called foraminifera, settle on the ocean floor after they die, forming layers that can stretch for hundreds of meters. Each layer tells a story about temperature, salinity, and life from long ago. Scientists study their shells to read the history of Earth's oceans, one quiet layer at a time. Thinking about these microscopic records creates a soothing sense of patience. Time does not rush to preserve its memories. It allows them to gather slowly, waiting in silence beneath the waves until someone discovers them thousands or millions of years later. A single orbit of the Earth around the sun defines 1 year, but the exact length shifts slightly over time due to gravitational pull from other planets. These changes are subtle and unfold across centuries. Scientists track them using precise instruments and historical records, gently adjusting calendars when needed. Imagining this slow drift creates a calming feeling. Time does not need perfect symmetry. It moves with quiet flexibility, allowing small variations without disruption. The world continues its journey through space at a steady pace, reminding you that even the measures we rely on can bend softly without losing balance. Tree rings not only mark years, but also record moments of drought, rainfall, and changing seasons. Each ring forms slowly beneath the bark, adding a new layer to the trunk without disturbing the old ones. Scientists can read these patterns to understand weather from centuries ago. The tree itself stands quietly through storms and sunlight, unaware that it is keeping time. Thinking about a tree growing in a silent forest brings a calming sense of stability. Time becomes something that gathers softly rather than passes quickly, showing that life can move forward through steady growth instead of urgency. The stars you see in the night sky twinkle because their light passes through shifting air in Earth's atmosphere. In space, stars do not twinkle at all. Their light is steady and calm, traveling across the universe without interference. Telescopes placed above the atmosphere capture this stillness, revealing stars as quiet points that do not flicker. Thinking about this creates a soothing image. Time and space feels smooth and uninterrupted, free from the restless motion of air. It reminds you that even something that appears to shimmer can be steady when seen from a different place. Beneath layers of volcanic rock, small bubbles of ancient air become trapped for thousands or even millions of years. When scientists study these bubbles, they are breathing the same air that once moved across old landscapes and oceans. The air remains unchanged, preserved inside stone as time flows around it. Thinking about this hidden memory brings a peaceful feeling. Time does not always sweep everything away. Sometimes it protects the smallest details, holding them quietly until they are discovered with patience and care. The orbit of the moon is gradually moving farther from Earth by a few centimeters each year. This change is slow and gentle, caused by the tides transferring energy over long periods. As the moon drifts away, the length of Earth's day increases slightly, adding tiny moments that no one can feel. Scientists measure this shift using laser reflections and precise instruments. Imagining the moon slowly drifting through space creates a calm sense of motion. Time does not rush the process. It allows the universe to adjust softly, one small change at a time. The quiet rhythm of a sleeping city creates its own sense of time. Streets that are busy during the day become still, and sounds grow softer as people rest. Lights fade in windows, and the world slows without stopping. Even though the clock continues, time feels different when everything becomes calm. Thinking about this peaceful transition brings a soothing awareness. Time does not always move at the same pace. Sometimes it feels gentle simply because the world around you has settled, allowing each moment to arrive quietly and without demand. Ancient river deltas grow slowly as water carries tiny grains of sediment downstream. Over centuries, these grains settle at the mouth of the river, forming new land layer by layer. Cities and farms sometimes rise on these gentle deposits without realizing how long they took to form. Scientists study these patterns to understand how coastlines change over time. Thinking about a river quietly shaping the land creates a calming sense of patience. Nothing happens suddenly, Each grain finds its place, guided by water that never rushes. It shows that time can build entire landscapes through soft and steady motion, allowing the world to transform without force or noise. The light from distant supernova helps scientists measure the expansion of the universe. These explosions look bright for a short time, then fade slowly over months, releasing light that travels across billions of years. Even though the event itself is powerful, its journey through space is calm and uninterrupted. By observing how this light stretches, astronomers learn how time and distance are connected on the largest scales. Thinking about this creates a soothing feeling. Time in the universe is not defined by sudden brightness alone. It also continues quietly afterward, carrying gentle traces of events long after they have passed. The Sahara Desert was once covered in green grass, lakes, and animals thousands of years ago. Over time, slow changes in Earth's tilt and climate turned the region into the dry landscape seen today. Scientists study ancient carvings and fossils to understand this transition. The shift did not happen quickly. It unfolded over long periods, allowing life to adapt and move. Thinking about this gentle transformation brings a calm awareness. Time can reshape entire environments not through sudden change, but through soft, steady adjustments. It reminds you that the world has lived many quiet lives before the one you know now. Deep inside the Andes, salt flats formed from ancient lakes that evaporated slowly under the sun. As water disappeared, minerals settled into smooth white plains that now stretch across the horizon. These salt beds reflect sunlight with a quiet stillness, creating a landscape that feels almost timeless. Scientists study them to understand climate patterns from thousands of years ago. Thinking about this silent transformation creates a peaceful image. Time there feels paused, as if the world is resting under a bright sky. Nothing rushes across the surface. It remains calm and open, holding the memory of water that once moved gently through the valley. Some species of bristlecone pine trees are more than 5,000 years old, making them among the oldest living organisms on Earth. They grow slowly in cold, high mountains where conditions are harsh but stable. Their twisted trunks and narrow rings show centuries of quiet endurance. Scientists study these trees to understand long-term changes in climate and atmosphere. Thinking about a tree that has witnessed so many seasons creates a deep sense of calm. Time for these pines does not hurry. It moves gently through wind and snowfall, allowing life to continue with patience rather than speed. The sound of waves reaching the shore follows a rhythm shaped by wind, distance, and the pull of the moon. Each wave forms far out at sea and travels for long stretches before touching land. Even though the pattern is always changing, it feels calm and predictable. People have listened to this quiet rhythm for thousands of years, finding comfort in its softness. Thinking about waves arriving one after another brings a peaceful feeling. Time at the shore does not need measurement. It moves with the ocean, steady and patient, reminding you that some rhythms continue, whether or not anyone is watching. Ancient clay tablets from Mesopotamia recorded observations of the night sky more than 4,000 years ago. These markings tracked the rising of planets and the timing of eclipses. Scholars copied these records carefully, passing knowledge from one generation to the next. The writing did not rush to explain the world. It simply noted what returned with gentle consistency. Thinking about these early observers creates a calm awareness that time has always fascinated people, yet their approach was patient. They watched the sky slowly, allowing patterns to reveal themselves over years instead of moments. In the deep Arctic, Some lakes remain unfrozen beneath thick ice because warmer water sinks from the surface. These hidden layers stay still for centuries, untouched by wind or light. Sediments settle quietly at the bottom, forming thin lines that mark each passing year. Scientists call these varves, and they hold delicate records of past climates. Thinking about this silent layering brings a soothing sense of stillness. Time continues even in the coldest places, moving softly through darkness and depth, without needing sunlight or movement to leave its gentle traces behind. A comet takes many years to complete its journey around the sun. Some return every 76 years, while others travel for thousands before passing Earth again. Their icy surfaces release glowing tails when warmed by sunlight, but most of their time is spent in quiet darkness, far from any star. Imagining a comet drifting silently through space creates a peaceful picture. Time for these travelers stretches across generations. People may see a comet once in their lifetime, and then it disappears into the calm distance, continuing its slow path without hurry or sound. The slow rise of mountains happens when tectonic plates push gently against one another. Even though earthquakes can occur suddenly, the overall growth of a mountain range takes millions of years. Peaks lift grain by grain, shaped by forces deep within the earth. Wind and rain then wear them down just as gradually, creating a balanced cycle of building and smoothing. Thinking about this steady exchange brings a calming awareness. Time shapes the land, not through sudden change but through quiet persistence, allowing the tallest mountains to grow and fade in silence over ages. Some river stones become smooth over centuries as water brushes gently across their surface. The change is slow and quiet, rounding sharp edges into soft curves. No single moment creates the transformation. It happens through countless tiny touches that no one can see. Scientists study these patterns to understand how long a river has followed its path. Thinking about a stone resting beneath clear water brings a calming sense of patience. Time there is not measured by clocks, but by gentle motion, showing that even the hardest surfaces can be shaped softly over many years. Bioluminescent plankton in the ocean glow only for an instant when disturbed, creating brief flashes of blue light. These moments are triggered by chemical reactions inside the tiny organisms and fade almost as quickly as they appear. Most of the time, the water remains dark and still. Thinking about this gentle glow brings a peaceful image. Time in the ocean can be quiet for long stretches, holding calm darkness interrupted only by soft, shimmering pulses that disappear without hurry, like small memories passing through the night. The shadows in a sundial change their angle slightly faster near noon and more slowly at sunrise and sunset. This gentle shift happens because the sun's path across the sky is not uniform. Ancient observers noticed the difference without needing to explain it. They simply watched the shadow move in silence, learning patience from the sky. Thinking about this creates a soothing awareness. Time can appear to slow and quicken without urgency, guided only by light and the turning of the earth. Some coral reefs build strong limestone towers called coral spires over thousands of years. Each tiny coral adds a thin layer before resting, creating structures that rise slowly toward the surface. Storms may pass overhead, but growth continues calmly below. Scientists study these reefs to understand ancient sea levels. Imagining these quiet builders working grain by grain brings a peaceful feeling. Time under the ocean moves with soft persistence, showing that progress does not need speed to create something lasting and beautiful. A year on Neptune lasts about 165 Earth years because it orbits so far from the sun. Seasons there unfold over decades, changing so slowly that no human could witness a full cycle. The planet spins quickly, but its journey through space is long and quiet. Thinking about life under such a gentle timeline brings a calming perspective. Time in the outer solar system stretches softly, reminding you that the universe holds rhythms far slower than anything experienced on Earth. Soil forms slowly as rock breaks down into tiny grains through wind, rain, and changing temperatures. This process can take thousands of years before a thin layer appears on the ground. Plants and microorganisms add organic matter, creating fertile earth little by little. Most of this happens quietly, unnoticed beneath your feet. Thinking about soil forming grain by grain brings a calming awareness. Time in nature works patiently, turning stone into life-supporting ground without force or hurry. It reminds you that the foundations of life begin with the softest changes, unfolding at a pace that feels peaceful and steady. Some star clusters gradually drift apart over millions of years. When they first form, stars are born together from the same cloud of gas and dust. As time passes, gravitational pulls from nearby objects gently separate them, spreading the stars across the galaxy. No one can see this change in a single lifetime. It happens so slowly that the cluster appears unchanged for ages. Thinking about this gentle dispersal brings a soothing feeling. Time does not always hold things together tightly. Sometimes it releases them softly, allowing each star to follow its own quiet path through space. Ancient ice in deep caves forms delicate crystals that grow only a few millimeters each year. These formations are protected from wind and sunlight, allowing them to develop in silence. Scientists study them to understand temperature changes from long ago. The crystals are so fragile that a small touch can cause them to disappear. Thinking about this hidden world creates a peaceful image. Time there feels almost still, building beauty through patience rather than movement. It shows that some of the most remarkable things form not through speed, but through quiet endurance. Pebbles buried beneath glaciers become polished over centuries as ice slowly drags them across the ground. The pressure smooths their surfaces without sound, creating rounded stones that carry the history of their journey. When the glacier eventually melts, the pebbles remain as silent reminders of time passing through ice. Thinking about this process brings a calm awareness. Time can shape even the smallest objects with gentle persistence, leaving soft marks instead of sharp changes. It reminds you that transformation can be quiet, steady, and almost invisible while it is happening. The universe will continue expanding for billions of years, growing colder and quieter over time. Galaxies drift farther apart, and stars slowly burn out, leaving space filled with soft darkness. Scientists call this the long future of the cosmos, unfolding so gradually that no moment feels sudden. Thinking about this creates a deep sense of stillness. Time on a cosmic scale does not rush or demand attention. It moves forward with quiet balance, allowing the universe to rest in its own gentle rhythm. As you let these thoughts settle, time begins to feel softer, no longer something that needs to be followed or measured. The universe continues its quiet rhythm without asking anything from you. Stars move slowly, oceans breathe, and the earth turns beneath you with steady patience. Every moment arrives gently and then drifts away, making space for the next. There is nothing you need to hold on to, and nowhere you need to be. You are already part of the same calm rhythm that carries galaxies and tides. Let your breathing slow, let your body rest, and allow time to unfold around you like a quiet sea. guiding you toward deep and peaceful sleep. Good night.